Stop, please don't skip to the rest of the video yet. This is my first video, and over the next 7 days I'm releasing 7 videos I've prepared. They include a video about dinosaurs that I had to draw a lot for, Valorant clip compilation, a Portal 2 playthrough, playing Discord's better version of Battleship, reacting to reels, and ranking Pokemon middle evolutions. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, make sure you stick around. If not, enjoy this video. Alright, that's all. Fortnite's obviously one of the most culturally significant games of the past 10 years. In this video, I'm going to look into what made it so relevant and what kept it relevant for several years, as well as if it could ever be done by another game again. I'm gonna try to make this video in one take and one cut, so hopefully there won't be any cuts. If there are, I'm gonna try to keep it pretty minimal, okay? So let's get into it. Fortnite Save the World came out July 25th, 2017. It was not that big of a game at first when it came out. You can see until Fortnite came out, it was only at 1 million players. Fortnite came out September 26th, so you can see after August, the next given player count is in December, and it's already up to 30 million, which is pretty big for a game that's not been out that long. The first Fortnite seasons came out October 25th, which is also before December, December 14th, February 22nd, May 1st. You can see during those times the amount of players on Fortnite kept going up. By season 5, which would have been in June 2018, also around when I started playing, there were 125 million people playing Fortnite, which is 4 times what it was in December, just 6 months prior. And as you can see, the growth just doesn't stop, right? Fortnite reached its peak 9 months ago with almost 12 million players. You can see that's more than 3 times the peak concurrent players of Steam's most played games. Now, what made Fortnite so wildly popular? Part of it is it was one of the first colorful shooters. A lot of shooters at the time, like Call of Duty, Halo, they were pretty bland and were pretty undersaturated. Fortnite obviously had a lot of bright colors, which attracted an audience of kids as well as some adults, which is pretty different from Call of Duty, which a kid might get pretty bored of because there's not much visual stimuli there. Fortnite was also available on tons of different platforms. So it lists it a lot right here, but when it came out, I think it was only available on Windows, PS4, Xbox, and maybe Nintendo Switch. It didn't have all of these platforms when it came out, but it still had a lot of platforms, and it allowed cross-platform play, so you could play with your friends who have an Xbox even if you have a Nintendo Switch or PS4, which was pretty big. Leading me to the next point, it was easy to play with your friends despite having different gaming consoles. So playing with friends, I think, was a big part of Fortnite retaining its popularity. It was a really good way to form connections with people, and I think that was a pretty significant part of it, but that's still not really unique to Fortnite. A lot of games had cross-platform and you could play with your friends. So I don't think that's the factor that differentiated Fortnite. Fortnite also had a lot of unique skins, as you can see here. This, I think, is also what attracted a younger audience to play Fortnite more than just teenagers. You could really customize your character with a skin, a back bling, and a pickaxe, and I think that attracted a much larger audience for Fortnite than some other games had. The skins work a lot better because it's a third-person shooter. A lot of first-person shooters, you can only get gun skins, which isn't as visually interesting as a walking banana, you know? Now, as far as Fortnite's innovation, they had seasons and battle passes, which were huge. I mean, every game now has a battle pass, right? It's hard to find one that doesn't, and Fortnite started that. They also have seasons so that they can release a battle pass every 2 months, right? As far as I know, Fortnite was the original game to have seasons and to keep changing the content in such major ways. Here you can see some of the seasons. On top of changing the content in major ways every 2 months, they also had small changes every 2 weeks. Fortnite also had a lot of collaborations, so people who say liked Marvel or DC or Stranger Things would possibly start playing Fortnite because they could play as a character they like. And they could also use abilities of characters they like, such as the Thanos Infinity Gauntlet and lightsabers. Here's a tribute to the best skin they have, Gojo, because he's the GOAT, you know. Another large part of Fortnite's success is the community. Here are 3 streamers They obviously aren't quite as significant as they once were, but they retained significance for a really long time. I think their significance kept people interested in Fortnite and interested in them. So it was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy if you look at it that way, because people watched them because they were interested in Fortnite and they kept people interested in Fortnite. Now, other games obviously have had significant communities like Among Us, which was incredibly popular at its peak, but it didn't last as long as Fortnite having that popularity. And I think the reason for this is there just weren't that many changes being made to Among Us, and it was partly luck. Obviously, some people still had huge rises from this, like Toast. You know, now he's on offline TV, he's doing great, right? But I think if someone limited their content to just being Among Us, I think if Toast never went away from Among Us content at all, he would have fallen off pretty quickly because it just wasn't as captivating of a game as Fortnite. Fortnite also listened to the community. I think a lot of us can remember in Season X when the mechs came out, and after like a day or two, Fortnite decided they would nerf them to the ground, but they did nerf them because they were so overpowered for a couple of days. It was awful. So what did differentiate Fortnite? Well, obviously a part of it is the innovation they had. They had seasons and battle passes, which were a huge innovation in the gaming space, and you know, obviously have lasting effects even now. Another part of it is Fortnite was incredibly easy to pick up. Even if you haven't played much video games in the past, like I think it was one of the first shooters I played, you can learn it pretty quickly and it's pretty easy to understand the game. Obviously the community, I already talked about that. The community played a pretty major role in keeping Fortnite relevant for so long. And on top of that, every game in Fortnite was different. I think this is also something that differentiated it from games like Among Us and Fall Guys. While they were wildly popular, they got stale pretty quickly. A lot of the games were pretty similar. Fortnite, you have an entire map you could land anywhere on. You know, not everyone has the same starting point like in Fall Guys. And there's just pretty much unlimited possibilities of what could happen while you're playing a game. I think something that helped this was changing the map. Obviously, when the new map came out in Chapter 2, a lot of people stopped playing Fortnite, but I think it might have been important that they do that just so people don't get tired of the game, so that it can stay relevant. Obviously, it didn't work in their favor. It probably would have been better to just change a few POIs every season, like they had been doing up to that point, but it's still doing pretty decent, all things considered. Furthermore, they had building. This also made every game a lot different. I mean, you could build structures and change the map. You can't do that in mini games. You never really play the exact same game over and over again like you might in Fall Guys, with there only being so many different competitions to compete in, or Among Us, where you know you can only be the imposter so many times before it gets kind of boring. To conclude, could there ever be another Fortnite? Really, it's not a good payoff, but it's hard to say because one of the biggest factors for Fortnite was its innovation. Obviously, if there is another game that big, it's going to need constant updates like Fortnite had, but I also think it needs to be innovative, and I just don't know how they're going to innovate, because if I did, then I would make the game, you know? But the game that does get as popular as Fortnite, or even get more popular than Fortnite, is going to be super innovative. I can say that for sure. I also want to say that to stay relevant, we see that Fortnite peaked 9 months ago, right? This was because there was a huge player base, but also there was a huge returning player base because they released the original season. So if Fortnite wants to stay relevant for several more years, possibly decades, they need to release the original season 1 month every year, kind of drip feed it. If they just had the original season, it would get stale like most games do. But if they have it for 1 month every year, during that month, Fortnite would see a huge return of a player base. I just think it would be really smart. I don't know why they don't do that. They may do it this year because it hasn't really gotten to that point yet, and I hope they do, but we'll only know in the coming months. So hopefully they do, but the lack of advertisement about it makes me think they won't, and I think that's a big fail on Fortnite's part. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope what I was saying made sense. That's all. I wonder how long that was.